Hello, Panthers. Today we're going to go through a little background information about the library online resources and how to access them. We're going to go through this particular site that is available a number of different ways. You can access this site if you're on the Google Classroom page for the middle or high school. It's available as a link on the district homepage under Students. And if you're at the elementary levels, you can also access it. If you ask your teacher for the link, they can help you find it or provide it for you. One thing you'll see on here is contact information for both myself, Mr. Bosemworth, or for Mrs. Nurnberger. It has both of our emails. It has my schedule and when I'm at different schools. So you're always able to contact me, even if I'm not in your actual buildings. Even if it's on the weekend, you can email me. I'll try to get it back to you on the weekend too if you email me on the weekend. We're going to scroll to the bottom and start from there. And I'm going to show you some things that we have on here. If you're on upper grades and you're doing some work on research, we have some very good sites about plagiarism and citations and how to keep yourself out of trouble if you're doing some research papers so you don't accidentally use what's called plagiarism, which could be very bad for your grade and for your reputation. We have a list of mythology resources. So if you're wanting to learn something more about Greek and Roman mythology specifically, we do have some links available here. This will probably be updated soon to add some links about a variety of other mythology, but for now it's mostly Greek and Roman. There will be some new links added to the Share Catalog tutorials. So if you want to watch on how to check out a book or renew a book or do anything like that with the library system, you can check it through this link. We have Sounds Abound, which is a source we order every year, and using it, you can use music that will keep you out of trouble. If you want to use music on any reports or research you want to do, any projects you're doing, all this is copyright paid, so you're not going to get in any trouble, and some pretty cool stuff on here. And there are also some tutorials on how to do it and sample videos if you look at sample videos and resources. So check that out if you want to put some sounds or music onto your work. We also have, scrolling back down, we also have Tumble ebooks. Tumble ebooks are mostly for the younger grades. So elementary, this is a good site for elementary students and their parents. Scholastic's We the People has a number of resources for students in grades 4 through 10. And honestly, you could read them any grade level because they all have some kind of pictures and they all have some kind of extra text. So I think they could be used for a lot of different grade levels. But let's read through a few of them and scan a few. So as you know, politics sometimes gets very important at different times of the year and certain years. So it's good to know some more about the government, about the court system. So if you want to learn more about the Supreme Court, for example, you could look up some information on it. You can see some related stories about it just by clicking on the Related Stories link. A lot of interesting things on here. So you could, if you're learning about something related to the government and civics in class and you want to learn more, this would be a good place to look some information up. And if you're a teacher and you wanted to use more information, some supplemental things, this would be a good place to start as well. Scrolling above that, we have what's called Gale Research in Context. And what this is basically a database of information. Basically, it's encyclopedias and articles about a variety of different things. So we'll go to science this time. So if you want to go into something about science, you'll notice there are a number of things that have been updated. They're always updating these sites. So we'll click on something that's been updated, like pollution. And you'll see that it has articles that are very direct, and then it has links to other articles, magazines, biographies, videos, and audio. And every topic will have slightly different things, obviously, but you can find a wide variety of information about a lot of different topics on this particular site. We also have the Gale Virtual Reference Library, which is pretty similar. A little bit harder reading. It's more for the high school level. We'll go with science again. Give some examples. So if you wanted to read something from this particular resource, all you'd have to do is open it up, and let's see if it looks interesting to you first off, because you always want to check first to see if it's actually going to have what you want. So you can look at the table of contents, and if any of these topics seem interesting to you, then this would be potentially a book you'd want to read, or at least some sections from the book, right? So always check whenever you look at a resource like this, check the table of contents first before you just click on it. It'll save you a lot of time and trouble, because you may not actually want to read it. If you do want to read one of the books, open them up. And obviously you may not want to read all 325 pages for this, but that's up to you. You can always choose what you want to read from it and what is going to be more or less useful to you. Okay. We also have opposing viewpoints in context. So if you're trying to debate a topic, you have a social issue specifically that you think you want to learn about both sides of it, which you should always understand both sides of any topic, right? You may not always agree with the opposing side, but you should always understand what the opposing side is so you can understand people better. So let's look under science, technology, and ethics for this particular one and see what they have available. And you'll see there's a lot of different things on here. And you'll notice that quarantine and isolation measures pretty popular right now, so we'll look at some things that they have on there. Right. You'll notice it has 9 featured viewpoints. It has 11 videos. It has audio. It has magazine articles. It has statistics. It has a lot of different things that could be useful if you're doing either research or just want to learn about a topic. What many of you are going to use is the Share and the eRead Illinois. Now, to use either one of these, you'll have to remember your ID number, which is and that's your username. So for students, it's the letter J, and depending on what the ID number is, they either start with a 0 or they start with the number 1. If it's a teacher, you probably don't start with the letter J. So you just use your actual number. If you don't know your number, if there's any student or teacher or anyone who doesn't know your actual number, you can contact me and I will be happy to send that to you. Your password is always going to be 4444, and that works for both the Share Catalog and the eRead Illinois. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the eRead Illinois, and then I'm going to log in with a temporary ID. And this is what it's going to look like if you open it up. I'm not going to save it because that's just a temporary one, right? And when you go to this now, you can see all the books that are coming out on digital resources, and they're all available to anyone with a library account through the Jersey school system. So let's look through new titles for kids first. And you can always look at anything on your own. Now, the reason you want to log in first is if you do, you can see which ones are actually available right now and which ones aren't available right now. Sometimes it shows 31 days or 69 days or 249 days. That doesn't necessarily mean it will take that long. If you really want to read it, you can always put a hold in for it. It'll probably get in sooner than that. But this way, at least you know before you spend time trying to open up a book, you know what's actually available. Okay? So we'll scroll down till we find one. Oh, here we go. There's a good one. Be fearless. Dream like a kid. So let's open this up. Hit the borrow. That's the first thing you need to do if you want to read it. Then you'll hit read. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to open everything up. You just have to be patient, right? That's hard to be patient sometimes, but we all need to do it, don't we? Okay. So we'll scroll a little bit forward. And for this, I'm just using my arrows. And all the different chapters are shown. And it reminds you if a page is blank so you don't think that you're missing something. And then go straight to the story itself. If you want to stop reading, that's all you have to do is click off it, and it will open it back up to you. Hit the wrong button. So this is good practice for me too. So I'm already logged in. I can look at what I have out. I go into my books, and that's where you would see the book you are currently reading. Okay. So if you get done reading, you just click off of it. And if you're done with it completely, it will either return it for you itself in 21 days, or if you're done, just hit return. And if you return the book, then it's available for someone else. That's very important to do. I don't want to see people just checking things out and waiting till 21 days is over and it clears, because that's just not a good Panther way to do things, right? So when you're done with the book, click return so that the next person online who's requested something can read it as well. And that'll keep those times down like we showed earlier that had the 240 days, right? Because one of the reasons there's probably 69 and 31 and 249 days of time is because they're counting on 21 days per person, everyone who's got a request in. So that's the ebooks. You'll notice also, when going through these, some of them also have audio. So we'll show you down some more. So if you were wanting something with audio, you'll notice it has the little headphones. So you make use of that when you can. And then we'll go back to the actual share account. And this is something that all of you are going to be using sometime in your school career. Same thing, I need to log in with my temporary ID. You'll see I have no items out. If I had any items out, this would be where it would show up. You'll see I have some requests out that I ordered some books. If I had any fines or fees, this is where it would be. If there was a book I remember that I read that I really liked, it shows up on reading history, and they'll tell me every book that I've read going back to the start of my account. You can also go to your record and find some information there. But let's just go real quickly through how we would search for something. So if you wanted to order a book, find something that was of interest, you can use the keyword, you can use browse, you can use a phrase, you can use exact. I typically go with keyword. So I want to learn something about dogs, right? And you'll see if you do a keyword search that has a variety of things right off. Maybe something's already on here that you're interested in, maybe not. Now, a subject like dogs, as you'll see, is very popular. There's 22,000 books about dogs in the library system. So anything I might want about dogs will show up. So you might want to be a little more careful as to what you search for when you're searching for a resource. You can find out by clicking on any of these if it's available, or if it's something you know by looking at this that you would want to get the book, go ahead and hit request. Make sure the pickup library that you want to pick it up from is for the school you actually attend. That's very important, because if you're at the high school and you submit this to go to the middle school, that's where it'll go first, and then I'll realize it needs to go back to the high school, and that'll be a delay. Okay? And the activation date of the request will be right here. You'll hit the request, and if it becomes available, they'll let you know. You'll see on this one, because of the COVID situation right now, this particular book would not be something that they would send. That's unfortunate, but I'm glad that this showed up on the first example, because some books right now will not be able to ship because the libraries are not all sending books out. In the future, they will. We'll scroll back some, and we'll get you back to the main page again. So again, there are a lot of different things on here. Some are going to be more useful to you than others. Some will be more useful to you at upper grades. Some might be useful to you when you get out of high school. You may want to contact somebody you know in school and say, hey, could you help me find some materials on this information for something I'm doing in college? So use it for that as well. I hope this has been useful for everyone, and I hope you all have a great day.